Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Welcome to Hoping with Hanuman, our celebration of Bhagwan Rama's Jayanti, Bhagwan Hanuman's Jayanti in 2025. You probably know this, but reflecting on this a little bit more. We have only lived in the present. We have never not lived in the present. It's not possible to not live in the present. If you reflect on the past or the future, you're only doing that through the present. And that's why our guides, our teachers share with us, live in the moment, be here and now. And certainly, I advocate for this, but sometimes we do go to the past. And the way to come out of that is by learning from the past. And one sign that one has utilized the past well to learn from this is where one is more grateful. More grateful. As I go to the past, around 5 years ago, I was in Cleveland. I remember the weather outside. I remember the home I was in. And I was about to fly to Seattle. I had a program that was starting over there. And there were many physicians, many pharmacists who were telling me, we don't know what COVID is, and you shouldn't go. Some people had given me those basic masks, and then someone brought me an N95 and so on. It was a very confusing time, especially for me, who doesn't have a medical background. Now, not fast forwarding, but taking us into a different orientation. I started teaching virtually in January of 2014. This is when I was tending to 4 different Chinmay Mission centers in Niagara and London, in Pittsburgh and Cleveland. Our virtual teaching really became a community in September of 2016. This is where we had many regular courses that were being facilitated. A big change, though, happened in March of 2020. The keywords went from virtual to community to Ashraya. It was in March of 2020 where our virtual community became a support. For many of us who study Srimad Bhagavatam, the 10th section, the most important section, is called Ashraya. It is to feel that Bhagavan Krishna is your sole support. Our community became this for me and for hundreds of others directly and thousands of others indirectly. Some expressions of this in 2020, before we began any class, before we began any workshop, we had paused. And what did we do? We invoke toughness to evoke hope. That's an expression of Ashraya. In this year and some years after, we prayed. We regularly prayed for humanity. We prayed for specific people who were losing their health, losing their life. In that first year of COVID, it was in May that I wrote a check from Chinmay Mission Niagara to the Raft. It is a youth shelter in the Niagara region for $12,543. Youth shelters were struggling so much in terms of their finances, in terms of more youth needing support. So I'm rewinding and then moving forward. We are living in the past to help us to be more grateful. 5 years ago was a very complex and deteriorating time for all of us. But in all of this, we went from being virtual in 14 to being a community in 16 to being a support in 20. During that first month and seasons, when everyone started to live virtually, it was on April 11th that we organized a healing with Hanuman. We just needed to heal our bodies and our minds and our egos. And who better to help us to heal than Sri Hanumana, Bhagwan Hanumana. Now, fast forward 5 years, we are still healing, but we're reorienting our celebration to hoping with Hanuman. We have survived, we have succeeded. There is still more healing to happen, but right now we're being hopeful. That toughness has come out as hope. In this morning's celebration of Bhagwan Rama's Jayanti, of Bhagwan Hanumana's Jayanti, we are going to chant Hanuman Chalisa. These are verses on toughness, verses on hope. As we engage in the chanting, please remember that prayer can operate on 2 levels. The higher level is to be grateful, and the lower level is to be purposeful. Communing with the divine about what you need, what you want. So as we chant, as we listen to Hanuman Chalisa, please express your being grateful, express your being purposeful. Hoping with Hanuman is different than healing with Hanumana. How this will flow is satsangaing. We have 6 guides that are joining us. After that will be singing. We have 3 groups of singers, all of different demographics. And then finally, 3 sharers too, joining us from different cities, different countries. So satsangaing, singing, and sharing. There'll be blocks of this throughout our Hoping with Hanuman. So sharing about the first block. Our singing will be by Avnish and Samyukta. These are 2 of our students who are joining us from Cleveland. They're brother and sister, and they're well-rounded. I know them more than all of you do. They're well-rounded seekers. They're not kids, they're seekers. And you'll get to feel some of how they're living their life as they sing. And right after them, then Rupa, she is a seeker of our community who's joining us from Monroe, New Jersey, who has become so active in our community. When we first met, maybe in 2020, her involvement was, and understanding was maybe passive, but now that's all changed. So our satsangaing is complete. We're transitioning into our singing and then sharing. Everyone smile, be grateful, be purposeful. Avnish and Samyukta, whenever you're ready.
Hari Om everyone. Hari Om Vivekji. Yeah. Unfortunately, my sister is unable to be with us today, but I'm still here.
चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी वरणो रघुवर विमल यश जोदायक फल बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिकै सुमिरौ पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु क्लेश जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपीश तिहु लोक उजागर रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरन विराज सुवेशा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केशा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर राम काज करिबे को आतुर प्रभु चरित्र सुनिवे को रसिया राम लखन सीता मन बसिया सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे रामचंद्र के काज सवारे लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई सहस्रवदन तुमरो यश गावे अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीषा नारद शारद सहित गहीशा यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाते तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा राम मिलाय राजपद दीना तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु वीर्योताहि मधुर फल जानु प्रभु मुद्रिका मेलि मुख माहि जलधि लांघि गए गचर जनाहि दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे होत न आज्ञा बिन पैसारे सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा तुम रक्षक कावो को डरना आपन तेज संहारो आपे तीनों लोक हांकते कापे पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा। संकट से हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, हे परसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुमरे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुमरे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुपति पुर जाई, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चेतन धरई, हनुमत से सर्व सुख करही। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलवीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करो गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई, छूटहि बंधी महासुख होई। जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, की जय नाथ हृदय महडेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन, मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित, हृदय बसौ सुरभूप।
पवन सुत हनुमान की जय।
Thank you, Avnish, for that wonderful rendition. And Hari Om to everybody. Thank you, Vivek ji. Thank you to everyone to allowing me to allow me to reflect. I'd like to go back to what Vivek ji shared and what we've heard Vivek ji share many times during the pandemic, and that is invoke toughness and evoke hope. And at that time, it was a very comforting phrase, something warm to hear every morning, and that made me feel good. But over time, and especially through this community, I came to understand what it truly means. My journey with Chinmay Mission started many years ago when I enrolled my daughter for Bal Vihar when she was 2. She's nearly 20. One of her earlier teachers inspired me to start teaching. So I taught, I volunteered, I stayed involved over the years. When it came to study, self study, to truly dive into studying Vedanta, I always told myself, oh, one day there'll be a time when life slows down and, these teachings are too big, too dense, too overwhelming for me, and I felt too busy to begin. Um, then in 2020, before the pandemic, before the world paused, I stumbled upon one of Vivekji's community calls on Facebook, and that too, it's truly the grace of Bhagwan. Vivekji doesn't do community calls anymore, but that was just a chance happening on Facebook that happened, and that was my turning point. I had never met Vivekji before. I think I had heard him once when he had come to New Jersey many years ago for United Consciousness event, but I don't even remember, that time. And that led me to Meaningful Mornings, that community call, and it was just before COVID. And and this community has now become a home for me now. Meaningful Mornings, as it started, it became my morning structure. The day's rhythm began with Meaningful Mornings, and it gave me a sense of direction. As time passed, of course, the pandemic happened and life presented new challenges. I found myself reaching for something deeper. Instead of just managing, I began reflecting. I began asking questions that I used to avoid. Why am I doing this? What is this for? Through Vivekji's teachings and the opportunities to study and serve, I feel that I was a searcher and I became a part-time seeker and now a full-time seeker. Satsanga has become that foundation for me, and because of opportunities that Vivekji and this community has offered, Seva has become my sadhana. My perspective began to expand just from serving my family, my community, and serving beyond. And I'm truly grateful for Vivekji and this community for pushing me beyond my comfort zone. And all I had to do was to commit, I feel. And through that simple act, I found something I had been missing so long, and that is that faith. Faith in myself, to slow down, to quiet, and to be honest with what I truly needed. And also the faith in our Shastras, our Sadguru, and most deeply in Bhagwan. Earlier I used to turn to Bhagwan, especially Sri Krishna and Hanumanji, like an emergency contact, in moments of despair and helplessness. But because of Meaningful Mornings and this daily reflection through Vivekji's guidance, this growing sattva has become a daily presence in my life, and feeling Sri Krishna's presence in everything, not just in crisis, but in routine, the quiet moments, the stillness that I have, and that I have during the tough times is because of that. I see Sri Krishna's presence everywhere now, and definitely he's making my life easier. And everything I go through now, I feel is really custom designed as a plan for me, and that is really grace. So when I think of now toughness, I no longer picture that force or that grit or any of that. I see this effort and what Vivekji said about steadiness. When we are steady, we get that toughness automatically, and as we stay steady, that makes us hopeful, and that hope grows into faith. So I feel for me, it's invoke toughness, evoke hope, live in faith, and recognize the grace in me. And for this journey in this community and for everything Vivekji has given me, I'm forever grateful. Thank you so much.
Syavar Ramachandra ki Jai. Your offering, Avnish and Rupa, are lovely. It helps us to be more grateful, more purposeful, And as we think about what's happened in the world over the past few months, the past month, the past week, the past day, it's almost as confusing, as hard as it was 5 years ago. As we continue with our satsangaing, soon you'll get to hear from another guide in our community, Vijayji. He is my father. He and my mother, I feel, were the first and maybe the only seekers from North America who went and studied Advaita Vedanta in the ashram in Siddhabari in Hindi. So he will share. And right after him, Shashikalaji, that's my wife Sheila's aunt. She's also completed the Vedanta course in Mumbai at Sandipani. Both of them are role models. When we don't have the right role models, our bar in life is low. When we have role models in our lives, we start to raise the bar of expectations of ourselves. After they share, the singing part will be by Surabhi. Surabhi is a seeker who joins our Ramayana class and is dedicated to following the footsteps of Bhagwan Rama. And following her, our sharing will be from Jay Prakash, who's joining us from London. He is an ambassador of our community who very recklessly, in a meaningful way, shares these opportunities with his family, his friends, his coworkers, his co-students. So lots more satsangaing and singing and sharing. As all of this is happening, please continue to be grateful and purposeful. Vijiji.
Hari Om, Pranam to everyone. Welcome to our session, Hoping with Hanuman. Arey bhai, Hanuman ji's Chiranjeevi means he is in one of those windows. He's alive and present everywhere. Let's understand who really is Hanumanji and why he is born. Lord Shiva is narrating a Ram Katha to Mata Parvati. Let's understand some selected very important Chaupai and Doha from Ramcharitmanas. So this episode, just imagine Ravan is torturing ordinary citizen without any cause, like the COVID or a stock market. All these things bring so much uncertainty and brings confusion. So it's not that it happened in Satyug or this or that yug. It happens every country, every place, in every heart. So this, I'm going to read some chaupais and explain you. हिंसा पर अति प्रीत तीन के पाप ही कवन मिति. So Ravan's wickedness has no boundaries. His violence torture every person. ब्रह्मा सब जाना मन अनुमाना मोर कछु न बसाई. But who created this Ravan? Brahmaji. Brahmaji is the creator. So when you do the tapas, then he has to bless. Now the Brahmaji says, I cannot handle Ravan. जाके हृदय भगति जस प्रीति प्रभु ते प्रगट सदा तेहि रीति. तेहि समाज गिरिजा में रहूं अवसर पाई बचन एक कहूं. So Brahmaji goes to Lord Shiva and says his problem that I cannot handle, you have to handle. Lord Shiva thought for a moment, if I do some job, then Vishnu Bhagwan may get upset because those are his doorkeepers. So I should not do it. Let's all go to Vishnu Bhagwan. This is not a joke. This is the way this Ramcharitmanas goes there. So he's telling Parvati Amma that we had this meeting in there, and they were all saying we have to go, to meet Vishnu Bhagwan, who will go, how it will go. Then I was sitting quietly. Then when they asked me, so these are very heavy duty which we have to understand. We should not speak unnecessary. So when Brahmaji and other Devta they ask, then I suggested Hari Vyapak Sarvatra Samana Premit Pragat Hoi Main Jana देश काल दिस विद सही माही कहूँ सो कहाँ जहाँ प्रभु नाही. He said, why you have to go anywhere? Is there a place where he is not present? He is omnipresent. And he comes when we have devotion and love filled in our heart. So let's pray right here. So they didn't go anything. प्रेम ते प्रभु प्रगटई जिमि आगी मोर बचन सबके मन माना साधु साधु करि ब्रह्म बखाना. Bhagavan is everywhere and he is present as in a wood, as a fire. There is no wood which doesn't have the fire. The moment with a small spark, with small thought, small surrender, small love, he manifests in a big way. So everybody likes it. So we all prayed, and then further it goes. जनि डर पहु मुनि सिद्ध सुरेसा तुम ही लागी धरि हऊँ नर बेसा अनसन सहित मनुज अवतारा ले हूँ दिन कर बंस उतारा. Then Bhagavan Vishnu comes and he announced, fear not. Every citizen, Devi, Devta, fear not. For your sake, I shall assume a human form. And along with my divine power, I will be born into solar dynasty. निज लोक ही बिरंच गे देवन इहै सिखाई बानर तनु धरि धरि मही हरि पद सेवहु जाई. Now Lord Brahma told everybody, because if Bhagavan is coming, we should also go to serve him, to have his darshan. So all these Devi Devatas born as a banar, monkeys. These are not the monkeys. These are all Devi Devatas. And then Brahmaji said, I should serve my boss too. So he became a bear, Jamavant. Jamavant is Brahmaji. Lord Shiva also said, Parvati ji, I became Hanuman to serve. So Hanumanji is none other than Lord Shiva. So if we understand Hanumanji is the link to destroy evil, because it is Lord Shiva. And Lord Shiva is also Guru of Ravana. But when Hanumanji went into Lanka, he asked Ravana, where do you get all this power? Who are you? The Ravan, because of the ego, didn't understand his guru is in front of me, Lord Shiva.
Yes, yes, yes. And we have lots of gurus, and we appreciate you being a guru. And there's other gurus that are going to share too. So
I'm done.
respectfully. Avadasutta Hanuman ki
Jai.
jai. And Shashikalaji will continue now.
Hari Om. Humble pranams to everybody. So happy to be joining you all on this wonderful occasion of hoping for Hanuman. There is a very beautiful verse in Sri Rama Charita where it says Hanumanji had a one-to-one conversation with Sri Ramji when Ramji said, Hanuman, what do you think of me? He said, Deha buddhyotu dasosmi, jiva buddhya tvad amshakaha, atma buddhya tvamevaham, iti me nischita matihi. And of course, it says when we look at physical form, I'm your dasa. When I think of myself as a jiva, I'm a part of you. But I know that my essence is no different from your essence, Bhagwan. So every time I stand in front of Chinmaya Maruti and I pray and I invoke and I sincerely say, may some of your qualities flow through me. I keep thinking of these two lines of the Hanuman Chalisa, which connect so deeply with me. And I feel like when I say that, I'm lost. One is, Tum rakshak kahu ko darna. And second is, Sada raho Raghupati ke dasa. So both of these, when I say that, I say it feeling it, that when Lord Hanuman is there to protect me, what do I have to fear? And at that time, I'll sincerely say my ego is gone. It has sort of dissolved. And then I really feel I'm telling my problem, hey, look, you're not a big problem. You see how big my God is. And so I feel like the whole weight is lifted off my shoulder. I don't carry this burden of my ego, which is the one which troubles me so much. And when I say Sada Raho Raghupati Ke Dasa, what an instrument I can be if I can, even a little bit of it comes into my life. Again, I see that ego melting. And I'll tell you, when this ego melts, we are truly in his presence, and which is our true presence. This is what Hanumanji meant when he said, Atma Buddhya Tvamevaham. So I feel that presence of Hanumanji all the time. And surely, then what is there not to have any hope? He's our hope. He's the one who makes us fearless. He makes us function, and he, in fact, functions through us. So I pray for his grace for all of us. And, thank you, Vivek ji, so much for organizing this beautiful session. And I'm grateful to everybody here for sharing and that beautiful recitation and everything that's happening on this wonderful morning. Hari Om. Thank you.
Syavara Ramachandra ki Jai. Thank you to both of our guides. And Shashikala ji, I believe you're joining us from the Caribbean, and still you found the time and space to be with all of us. We appreciate this. Surabhi joining us from Calgary. Yes, Surabhi?
Hari Om, everyone. I'm currently in Texas, in Ingleside. I am from Calgary. Yes, I'm from Calgary, but currently I'm in Ingleside, Texas. And I'm so humbled and so grateful to be joining this beautiful, hoping for Hanuman talk. I am going to be chanting the Hanuman Chalisa, and so here it is. There are so many versions of Hanuman Chalisa sung by various people, various singers. I'm going to be singing the one by Hari Om Sharanji. Oh. श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज मन मुझ मन मुकुर सुधार बरनौ रघुबर विमल जसु जो दायक फल चार बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मोहि हरहु कलेस विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर, जय कपीस तिहु लोक उजागर। रामदूत अतुलित बल धामा, अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा। महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी, सुमति कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी। कंचन बरन बिराज सुबेसा, कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा। हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा बिराजे, कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे। शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन, तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन। विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर। प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, राम विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा। भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुबीर हरषि उर लाए। रघुपति कीनी बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई। सहस बदन तुम्हरो जस गावे, हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे। सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा। जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाँ ते, कभी को बिद कही सके कहाँ ते। तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाए राजपद दीन्हा। तुम्हरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना। जुग सहस्त्र जो जन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर फल जानु। प्रभु मुद्रिका मेल मुखि माही, जलधि लांग गए अचरज नाही। दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुम्हरे तेते। राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे। सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी सरना, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना। आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हाकते कापे। भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे। नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत बीरा। संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम बचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा। और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे। चारों जुग परताप तुम्हारा है प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा। साधु संत के तुम रखवारे असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। अष्ट सिद्धि नौ निधि के दाता असबर दीन जानकी माता। राम रसायन तुम्हरे पासा सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा। तुम्हरे भजन राम को पावे जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे। अंत काल रघुबरपुर जाई जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाई। और देवता चित न धरई हनुमत से सर्व सुख करई। संकट कटे मिटे सब पीड़ा जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा। जय 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 हनुमान गुसाई कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई। जो सत बार पाठ कर कोई छूट ही बंदी महासुख होई। जो ये पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा होए सिद्धि साखी गौरी सा। तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा कीजे नाथ हृदय में डेरा। पवन तनय संकट हरन मंगल मूर्ति रूप। राम लखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप। जय हनुमान जी की।
आज की आनंद की jay. From singing to sharing.
Hari Om. Hari Om, Vivek ji. Hari Om, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity to share my reflections. How Vivek ji, Vijay ji, and Madhu ji, and Meaningful Mornings and many yatras have changed my life and perspective. I'm not going to waste time in gratitude. So let me jump in. So when we came to Canada like 15 years ago, me and my wife, joining now, we used to ask ourselves like, why did we come to Canada? And I would say we came to here to earn money, which we all said. And my wife would say, no, we came to live our life. But later on, after 15 years, now we understand that we came here because our gurus lived in Niagara Falls. They brought us here for the transformation of our life. And we are forever grateful for that, Vivekji. And Vivekji always says about the trust triangle and Guru, Gita, and God. So Bhagwan is all around us. Like Bhagwan is everywhere. Poor guy, what can he do? He's just like sitting around us, in us, as us. But he thought like, all right, this person is like a Muda. He doesn't need me, but someone more intelligent than me. So he sent us the gurus. And Shastra is again everywhere. We go to a bookstore, we get a lot of books, but what do we understand from that? So for me, it's the guru, like who was the link in the trust triangle. And again, I'm so fortunate, so appreciative and gratitude for Vivekji, Madhuji, and Vijayji for transforming our lives. So, getting into meaningful mornings, again, just like everyone, I started to attend meaningful mornings just because Vivekji asked me to do too. So, but, and even as Vivekji was teaching Bhagavad Gita, I dropped off for a little while, like when Vivekji was teaching chapter 5. But then Guru's grace pulled me back into meaningful mornings and showed what this is all about. And but now meaningful mornings, just not meaningful mornings, everything is a part of our life. And we even have the opportunity to facilitate a satsang with my high school friends in India. And all I am doing is just taking what Vivekji says in Meaningful Mornings and just recite it there. And then just the last week, I had a reflection from one of my friends who was brought up as an atheist all her life, shared last week after a year of consistent practice that she's amazed. This is our words, how amazed she could see that our scriptures are tied with our lives, and um, how the scriptures has answers for everything in our life. So if this can bring a transformation in an atheist so much in a year, we all should be like hold on to it even harder and make sure like we don't let it go. That's like one reflection I wanted to give from Meaningful Mornings. And I've been fortunate with being with Vivekji for 3 yatras, 4 yatras, and I try to take one message from my yatra, from one yatra. So I just share the messages. So from the Kailash Yatra, my message was how important are the means to the ends. So we keep hearing this again and again, but do we really understand that? Like the means are so important, and we have to hold on to the means, be in the present, so that we don't even get dreams. As Vivekji shared in one of the discourses, how indigenous people don't get dreams. We have to hold on to the dreams. Sorry, we want to hold on to the present and go on. And then my second, in the Trinidad Yatra, how I could see a Ram Kaj all around with Swami Prakashananda ji and one Sevika who has been doing the puja at 5:15 in the morning for 25 years. And the latest at the Kumbh, my message was acceptance versus faith. How are we holding on to faith? Are we just accepting, or are we able to understand Bhagwan's Leela all around us? Thank you so much for everything, Vivekji. And lastly, um, our gurus, Vivekji, Vijayji, and Madhuji, they are so special just because like they live the talk, and we can see it all around us. And my high school friends met Vivekji in Bangalore 2 months ago, and all they could say is in 90 minutes itself, they can see how Vivekji lives the talk. Thank you for holding on to us. Thank you for not letting us go. And Hari Om. Gratitude.
Om Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Hoping with Hanuman is for us to be grateful and purposeful that our virtual, which became a community, is a support. The key feeling, the key bhavas, ashraya, that this is our support, and all of us together in terms of satsangaing and singing and sharing, it's almost like pranipata. We have one hand on top, may we not leave from each other, and one hand underneath, may we not leave from each other. In terms of our guides, Team India has shared. So based on seniority, myself, then Vijayji, then Shashikalaji. Now Team Trinidad is going to share. So we have 3 sharers, Kritikaji and Shankarji and Sumanji. Kritikaji, when she can join us, is really an expression of Arjava. She is a open person. It's so easy to be with Kritikaji. And then Shankarji is someone who's always trying to be better. And we know that through his teaching. We know that through his haircuts. And Sumanji also. Sumanji is one who's very relatable. And whatever we can relate to, we can be reformed by. So these are our guides that are going to share. And then in terms of singing, Arya who is joining us from Milwaukee. She is going to be singing the Hanuman Chalisa, and she's such a cheerful person. You'll see that and feel that as she goes about singing. And finally, our sharer will be Yin, who's joining us from Chicago, and he's a disciplined seeker in terms of IQ, EQ, SQ. So that's our next block of satsangaing, singing, and sharing. So our guides will start first.
Hariom, everyone. So grateful and happy to be with all of you on such a noble and joyous occasion. You know, as we're reflecting on Hanumanji, one aspect or virtue of Hanumanji that really stands out to me is Hanumanji's ability to discern with such clarity who he wants to associate with. So even the first time he met Sri Rama, even though Sri Rama was disguised as a Brahmana, immediately Hanumanji knew this is Sri Rama. This is the person who I want to serve and be close to. Even when Hanumanji was in Lanka, such an abode of adharma, he sought out one of the only noble people on the island, Vibhishana. So in the same way, being a part of this community is an expression of us trying to seek that nobility. And the power of being associated with a community like this is indescribable. You know, something as simple as Rupa and I, we recently moved to a new neighborhood. And we moved from a relatively transitional place to like a proper neighborhood, white picket fences, nicely manicured lawns. And you know, Rupa and I, we don't really care that much about our landscaping or our yard or that kind of maintenance. But our neighbors, every weekend, we see our neighbors, they're raking the leaves. Every time our neighbor's mowing lawn, we're like, oh no, he's mowing lawn again. Now we have to mow the lawn. So it's like, now just by the force of being in this new community, this new neighborhood, we're forced to prioritize landscaping. So in a similar way, being a part of this community, the power of our community is it sets what's normal, what's expected of us in our daily lives. So being a part of Meaningful Mornings and being a part of this community, it means that it's not normal to wake up late. It's not normal to, it's not normal to feel stressed out and to be busy. It's not normal to be pessimistic, not hopeful. So extreme gratitude to Vivekji for being the guidepost, the lighthouse of orienting this community and keeping the ship running. And immense gratitude to all of our inspirational guides and all of our sincere seekers who always motivate us to be the best versions of ourselves that we can be. So Hariom, thank you.
Om Namah Parvati Pataye.
श्री गुरु चरण सरोज रज निज मन मुकुर सुधारी वरणौ रघुवर विमल जसु जोधायकु फलचारी बुद्धिहीन तनु जानिके सुमिरो पवन कुमार बल बुद्धि विद्या देहु मुहि हरहु कलेश विकार जय हनुमान ज्ञान गुण सागर जय कपि सतिहु लोक उजागर रामदूता तुलित बलधामा अंजनी पुत्र पवन सुत नामा महावीर विक्रम बजरंगी कुमति निवार सुमति के संगी कंचन वरण विराज सुबेसा कानन कुंडल कुंचित केसा हाथ वज्र और ध्वजा विराजे कांधे मूंज जनेऊ साजे शंकर सुवन केसरी नंदन तेज प्रताप महाजगवंदन विद्यावान गुणी अति चातुर, राम काज करिबे को आतुर, प्रभु चरित्र सुनिबे को रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बसिया, सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंका जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज संवारे, लाय सजीवन लखन जियाए, श्री रघुवीर हरषि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाए, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाए, सहस बदन तुमरो यश गावे, अस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, सनकादिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद सारद सहित अहिसा, जम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाते, कवि कोविद कहि सकहि कहाते, तुम उपकार सुग्रीवहि कीन्हा, राम मिलाय राजपद दीन्हा, तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माला, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, जुग सहस्र जोजन पर भानु, लील्योताहि मधुर पल जानु, प्रभु मुद्रिका मेरे मुख माहि, चल दिलांग गए अचरज नाही, दुर्गम काज जगत के जेते, सुगमानुग्रह तुमरे तेते, राम दुआरे तुम रखवारे, होत न आज्ञा बिनु पैसारे, सब सुख लहे तुम्हारी शरणा, तुम रक्षक काहू को डरना, आपन तेज सम्हारो आपे, तीनों लोक हांकते कापे, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, नासे रोग हरे सब पीरा, जपति निरंतर हनुमत बीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, मन क्रम वचन ध्यान जो लावे, सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, तिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई अमित जीवन फल पावे, चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, हे प्रसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे, अष्ट सिद्धि नव निधि के दाता, असवर दीन जानकी माता, राम रसायन तुम्हारे पासा, सदा रहो रघुपति के दासा, तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावे, जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे, अंधकार रघुवर पुर जाए, जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए, और देवता चेतन धरहि, हनुमत से ही सर्व सुख करहि, संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा, जो सुमिरे हनुमत बलबीरा, जय 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 हनुमान गोसाई, कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई, जो सत बार पाठ कर कोहि, छूट ही बंधि महासुख होई, जो यह पढ़े हनुमान चालीसा, होय सिद्धि साखी गौरीसा, तुलसीदास सदा हरि चेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महदेरा, कीजे नाथ हृदय महदेरा। पवनतने सङ्कटहरण मङ्गलमूर्तिरूप रामलखन सीता सहित हृदय बसहु सुरभूप सियावर रामचंद्र की जय पवन सुत हनुमान की जय उमापति महादेव की जय बोलो भय सब संतन की जय।
Sadgurunath Maharaj ki Jai. As we're transitioning to Kritika ji sharing, welcome Kritika ji. This is me just buying time to give you time to share.
Hari Om, everyone. Thank you, Vivekji. Today, I'd like to just share a few words on Hanumanji, one of the most beloved and powerful symbols in Sanatan Dharma. And we know that studying through Chinmaya Mission and in our Vedanta classes, that Hanumanji is not just worshipped as a deity. He's not just an adorable little monkey that jumps as high as he can to eat the sun and play mischievous pranks on all of the rishis, but he is revered as the ideal role model for all of us as sadhaks. He is the perfect blend of spirituality, of strength, of devotion, and ultimately humility. When we say Jai Shri Hanuman, Hanumanji will say, why are you calling my name? Call Rama's name, or call another Bhakta's name, call Lakshmana's name. So when we say, who should we be like? We want to be like Hanumanji. And why is that? Because Hanumanji, he is what a true bhakti or what a true bhakta or the embodiment of devotion looks like. His love and his efforts are pure, they are selfless, and they're just always unwavering. You know, we have the nice tendency of if something doesn't go our way after we put in a lot of effort, then we say, you know what, maybe I should try something else. Maybe I will do something else, or I'll just give up, or I'll move to a different program, or whatever it may be. We're not as steady in our love. We're not steady in our faith. We're not steady in the goal that we are trying to reach. But Hanumanji, his goal was only to serve Bhagwan Shri Ram. And it wasn't for a reward, it wasn't for any recognition, it was just out of love. And when we act out of love, when we act out of true bhakti, out of devotion, then there is no need for any result, any certain result. We're just doing it for the sake of doing it. The karma or the action itself is the joy in serving. So at the same time, while Hanumanji was the ultimate servant or the ultimate das, he was no ordinary servant. He had incredible strength, he had incredible courage, and he had incredible intelligence, just from seeing the kathas of when he crosses that ocean of samsara and how he deals with each of the obstacles that come our way. In our mind, an obstacle is just whatever happens that doesn't go our way. Right? If it comes in between what we and what we're doing and what we want, then we say that is a gigantic, a huge obstacle. But for Hanumanji, the obstacle is whatever came in between him and completing Bhagwan's work. And even still, it was just a situation. Gurudev goes from, it was a situation at one point, and now it has evolved into a crisis. The same thing that was once a situation is now we call as a crisis. So Hanumanji just saw everything as a manifestation of Bhagwan in this form, in that form, and he just dealt with it accordingly, using his intelligence, right thinking, clear thinking, and he never used it to boost his ego. He used them only when it was to serve Dharma. His mind was always under control, right? In Vedanta, that mind is compared to a monkey. Same Hanumanji, restless and jumping around from thought to thought. But Hanumanji was the monkey who fully surrendered, fully, completely to Bhagwan Shri Ram. And so that happens, that shows what happens when that mind is disciplined and devoted, and all actions turn towards Paramatma. And what is that? It becomes fearless, it becomes powerful, and it becomes wise. So when we chant Hanuman Chalisa and we call out Jai Hanuman or Pavanaputra Hanuman ki Jai. We're not just asking for protection. We're not just praising Bhagwan, but we're reminding ourselves of the same qualities of Hanumanji that we want to grow in our own lives. So Jai Hanuman, Jai Shri Ram, Hari Om, and thank you for this opportunity.
Jai Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram.
Hari Om, everybody. I'm Aryan and I'm from the Chicago area. I just want to thank everyone for this opportunity to share about Happy Hour, one of the courses for probably like children from I think middle school, elementary and middle school. So I just want to thank Sumanji and Shankarji first for being the guides in Happy Hour. One of the biggest takeaways for me from Happy Hour is managing time. Both coming into the class and attending the course helped me manage time, because even just attending the class is like test my time management, because in that time I also had extracurriculars going on. So I had 30 minutes from I think karate to joining the class. So it really tested me to manage my time, which was just an amazing practice of whatever we learn in class. And this was during COVID when I was doing Happy Hour, and every week in COVID, every Wednesday, I would say I think I can speak for everyone that was joining the class. Me and everyone were looking very like forward to even just joining the class and having a fun time, because it's not like you can't say it was like a class. It was just like a whole community coming together and just having fun and learning a lot. And how this learning happened was through amazing stories by Shankarji and Sumanji, which really like helped us relate and symbolize meanings to our real life. And these stories just wanted me and everyone to just keep listening to them because they were so amazing. And these like-minded people joined like me, like-minded people like me like also joined the class. So it was just so amazing to just talk and discuss about the things that we learned and just chill. So these stories just amazingly captivated everyone. And I just want to thank Shankarji and Sumanji for this amazing course, and have an amazing time. Hari Om.
We're going to watch Sumanji now, and Kritikaji was just talking about Hanumanji is an icon of egolessness, and that's Aryan to me, that Shankarji and Sumanji were referenced again and again and again, and not me, which is good. Rita?
When we like something, we begin talking about it, isn't it? Here and there in a casual way. But when we love something, our thoughts and lives begin to revolve around it. We don't just tell others to try it. They come to us curious, thinking there's something different about you. Did you lose weight? Are you doing yoga? What has changed? You look happy. And we, in this context, begin to share not from a position of how we think this might help them, but we know it has helped us. And who is ever helping us? Carrying Dronagiri mountain, hope, like we are Sri Lakshmana, fallen and despondent in the battles from our lives. It is Sri Hanuman. Ramaduta Atulita Baladama. He is that ambassador of joy and hope, an abode of strength. Who else but he would we want carrying us? Over the course of my life, and like so many of us, I have listened to and chanted Hanuman Chalisa many times. But the first time I felt Hanuman Chalisa, Hanumanji, was on our first Trinidad Yatra back in 2015. where one evening we were headed to a historic site on the coast, and we began chanting this on the bus together. Did I know what was being said? No. Did I know how to chant it properly? No. But the power embedded in the mantra that is Hanuman Chalisa moved me to a stillness I had never known in my life. And this time in my life was most uncertain. With my mother's health and asking my Acharyaji, Swami Prakashananda, if I could come and join the residential Vedanta course. There was the most confusion and doubt. But that association with him, Sri Hanumana, moved me from there to a place of hope and unshakable faith that everything was going to be fine. And life truly has been ever since. It is really a joy to hope with Hanumanji and our Sri Rama, whom he takes refuge in.
Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. How are all of you? We've been together for 80 minutes now, and in such a meaningful way, with lots of satsangang. We got to learn from 6 guides, lots of singing from such different seekers, different stages of their life, and sharing as well. A lot of the sharing has come from our happy hour students. It really is happy hour. So everything we do together is happy hour. It could be put into brackets that Amrita Bindu Upanishad, happy hour. Meaningful mornings, happy hour. As we complete hoping with Hanuman, we went from healing to hoping. We are not just theorizing about how Bhagwan Rama and Bhagwan Hanumana lived, but we're trying to apply this too. We're trying to live the way of life that is Sanatana Dharma. And so 2 aspects of this that we're now going to share about are efforts for equality. And Pankaj will speak about this, a seeker joining us from Cleveland who's very steady with trying to live equality. And then Paridi, a seeker of ours from Toronto, who will share about Vedantic leadership training, how invested our community is in being a support for people we don't know, like efforts for equality, and people we do know, that is our young. Pankaj and then Paridi.
Hari Om. Tum rakshak kahu ko darna. I'm here representing initiative team and sharing updates about the efforts for equality, as Vivekji just talked about. Wanted to share a couple of short stories or instances to start with. The first one I'm sharing is the lunchbox that changed everything. At an elementary school in Toronto, a teacher noticed that one of her student, Maya, always stayed after lunch. She quietly packed away uneaten food into a container. When asked why, Maya looked down and said softly, "It's for my little brother. Sometimes we don't have dinner." Just across the border in Cleveland, Ohio, a similar story unfolded. A school counselor shared how a young boy, Daniel, couldn't focus in class, not because he didn't care, but because his stomach was empty. He told that the breakfast was a piece of toast yesterday and nothing else. These stories are not isolated. They are lived reality for millions of families. In Canada, food banks saw over 2 million visits in March 2024 alone, an increase of 90% since 2019. In the US, 47 million people, including 14 million children, live in food insecure households. What made the difference for Maya and Daniel? A caring adult, a community food program, and someone like you who choose to give. Your food donations don't just fill a pantry, they restore dignity, bring relief, and give children a chance to just be kids again. As we wrap up this year's efforts for equality, let's turn statistics into stories of hope. A box of cereal, a few cans, it's all it takes to make a child feel remembered and a family feel supported. We are at 74% mark of our Sankalpa. We have been able to gather and donate 7,960 pounds of food against our Sankalpa of 10,800 pounds. Thank you to all of you for reaching to that milestone. We still need to complete our Sankalpa. If we just donate 30 pounds today, each one of us will be able to reach our Sankalpa. So let's stand together across the US and Canada for equality and nourishment. Ashraya for all. Hariyo.
Lovely.
Hi, everyone. I'm so excited to be able to introduce Jim Mission Niagara Cleveland's new offering, which is the Vedantic Leadership Training. The number one question that I kept coming back to our guides with for a really long time, especially when I was just starting out my professional journey, was surrounding my purpose and how I could continue being a spiritual seeker in the secular world, especially when everyone else around me wasn't necessarily subscribing to those same philosophies. And through the wise words of and guidance of our gurus, I feel like I'm a little closer to understanding this. And the Vedantic leadership training aims to help seekers understand this clarity of purpose, along with gain self-confidence and empathetic leadership skills through a year-long immersive experience. The goal of this program is to essentially give seekers a space to grow as leaders, grounded in service and the set purpose. And under Vivekji's guidance, I've personally seen a tremendous shift in how I perceive difficult situations at work. And I constantly think about how much happier and how easier life would have been if I had some of this guidance earlier on when I was in university, or even earlier than that. And the Vedantic leadership training essentially allows you to have that space and gain those skills, and just be a part of such a great community which engages in so much seva. Applications are now open, and we really hope to see most of you apply soon. Carry on.
Sadhgurunath Maharaj Ki Jai. When I was living in the ashram and moving between ashrams that we would visit also, we would have to sit on the ground and eat. And when someone serving food would come, suppose with a bucket of rice, they would say, Chaval Ram. And if you wanted it, you said Ram. And if you didn't want it, you said nothing. That's how focused and important the usage of words were, that you answered by saying Ram. And I share that as we transition from satsangaing to singing to sharing, what better way to transition than Om Namah Parvati Pataye, Shri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Our community is not about a person. It is not even about a purpose. There's lots of persons, some of our guides, some of you, lots of purposes. Raising funds for the raft, completing offering 11,000 pounds of food for food banks. Our community is not about persons or purposes, but rather presence. The top of the trust triangle, which is divinity, and how there's everlasting love that is coming from that divinity through our maps, through our guides to our community. And our community has gone from being virtual to a community to a support. I know every one of you feels that this virtual community is a support. This is divinity who's looking at you and divinity looking after you. There's a lovely song called Everlasting Love. I feel that song so much exemplifies how divinity lives for us. Hoping with Hanuman is simply a reminder for all of us that we have gone from surviving to all of the verbs today: satsangang, singing, sharing. One more opportunity in terms of satsangang and singing and sharing, which I'm offering to all. On Thursday, April 24th, we are going to have a Rhythm Divine reflection party. We had a release party. Now we will have a reflection party. This will be from 9 to 10 Eastern Time. And we'll listen to Rhythm Divine and we'll reflect on it. How cool that in our community we have release parties, we have reflection parties. So keep that in your radar. As I finish with our prayer, I'd started off with a prayer and I'm finishing with a prayer. Please share in the chat what your heart is feeling right now, or who is in your heart right now. All of this you can share and be inspired by. I can't help but think about 5 years ago again, when Shankarji was sharing about directing this community. How many of you were part of Rise and Shine, which eventually became Happy Hour back in the day? At that time, somehow I used to call myself Captain Vivek. And I don't know if you remember, but I used to wear like a bandana and an eye patch when I used to teach. So that was me faking being a pirate. Now I'm an actual pirate. See the evolution. A virtual to community to support. And really awesome to read all of your reflections. I offer my prayers to Bhagwan Rama. It is his Jayanti. I offer my prayers to Bhagwan Hanumana. It is his Jayanti. For them to help us remember how much they love us in the form of looking at us, in the form of looking after us. Because if we remember this, we will look at them, look after them, love them. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinaha, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Pavanasuta Hanuman ki Jai. Siyavara Ramachandra ki Jai. Om Namah Parvati Pataye. Har Har Mahadev. Bolo bhai sab santan ki Jai. आज की आनंद की जय. सद्गुरुनाथ महाराज की जय.